How many philosophers and how many schools of philosophy do you remember? Did you have any exposure to philosophy as such during your education? Maybe in history, you heard a little about the greatest ancient philosophers, Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle. Maybe you had one semester of history of philosophy in college. Let's be honest with each other. Probably most people thought it was one of the clogs anyway, a pointless waste of time. And yet, if you ask the average person with even a passing interest in personal development, they have almost certainly heard of Stoicism. Each of them will probably point to Marcus Aurelius as the #1 representative. As it happens, philosophy as such is experiencing a kind of renaissance today. One of the leading schools is precisely Stoicism. But why is Stoicism so popular today? Why are more and more people trying to follow the teachings of thinkers who lived and taught more than 2,000 years ago? Stay a while and listen. Reason 1. Wisdom for living in harsh times. I understand that many of you may be knocking your heads at the moment. What hard times are these? After all, even the average person, considered poor today, has at his or her disposal amenities and technologies that would be the envy of kings and emperors of the past. To clarify this statement, let me recall a well-known quote by G. Michael Hopf. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. Although we are now in an era of tremendous industrial, technological, and scientific development, we are painfully suffering the side effects of this development. The incredible pace of life, media-driven consumerism, loss of authority, and total confusion in an overabundance of information. You can certainly add more than one thing to this basket of modern ills. Have you seen my video where I suggest where to start in your quest for a better life? Watch it later, I recommend it. In it I suggest starting with cleaning for a reason. We are not only lost but also crushed by an excess of responsibilities, activities, and information. And Stoicism is shown to us as a system for regaining control of our own lives. People feel a lack of control in today's world, and Stoicism offers a way to find serenity and happiness by focusing on what is within their control. Reason 2. Stoicism provides emotional stability. Stoic philosophy guides individuals to cultivate contentment and inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. The philosophy encourages us to focus on the elements within our control, enabling us to pursue a satisfying life amid challenges or turmoil. No one is surprised that this is so fashionable in business and entrepreneurial circles. What's more, modern science and psychology, including cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, confirm that the Stoic approach to emotion control yields unexpectedly good results. Reason 3. Rational foundations and universalism. The ancient Stoics lived in a time of great polytheistic religions and belief in the influence of fate on human destiny. Nevertheless, their teaching had a very strong rational basis, which is another very attractive feature for today's audience. It is popular with both atheists and followers of all forms of spirituality and religion. Reason 4. Stoicism teaches not only how to manage one's thoughts and emotions, but also calls for action. The most famous representatives of Stoicism, the Romans Seneca the Younger and Marcus Aurelius, were active in the world and sought to improve society, of course in addition to constantly improving their own lives. Reason 5. Shallow or misunderstanding of Stoicism. I mention this last reason somewhat provocatively. Many people misunderstand it or deliberately interpret Stoicism in a way that fits their vision and purpose. At this point, I don't want to dwell on this topic. It's material for one if not several separate episodes. Ultimately, for most of today's audiences, this is not even a problem, but it is important to be aware of it. Stoicism, some of which we recognize in social media for example, is often an adaptation to modern times. It is not a pure, historical version of the teachings of the Stoics, but a translation of their thoughts and their proposed solutions to today's challenges. But let's be honest, going back to the opening words of this material, do the overwhelming majority of us want to know from A to Z the teachings of the Stoics, each of their writings? Do we plan to write a habilitation? Or are we looking to their thought for guidance or even a coherent, complete system to guide us in life? This promise Stoicism fulfills quite well, and this is where its strength comes from today. Summary. Stoicism, from which today's man wants to draw strength, is not a philosophy of resignation, but of wise, rational action. It teaches us how to live in harmony with nature and ourselves. Finally, Stoics gives us a whole set of tools to help us learn the very important art of balance in life. It teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. The teaching of the Stoics is to show us how to live better every day. If you enjoyed this material, don't forget to press the like button and share the good news about the Ars Bene Vivendi channel. Consider subscribing to this channel to stay up to date with upcoming materials. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Watch my other videos on how to start building a better life. Until next time.